Alright, so aside from the the major fin sound that I tried to cover now, you can really hear like this faint blippy thing. Right? So I wanted because you have this tail thing that goes, outside, and I like the way. I mean, I made how the music fades out when you kind of go off screen, and you only hear the tail and right. You only hear it when you're around like the ship, right? But as you have the big tail that goes wherever it goes, it gives it a sense of space. Sorry, and that's the battle sequence, and then you have like this giant tail, and I wanted really like a faint thing of like that indicates movement. That is that thing, and I mean you can hear it. It's faint and it comes and goes, and in relation to the whole thing, I think it makes sense, right? So how did the thing come about? You can hear it now. Mucho, molto bene. So here it is here, right? All right, so this one kind of had I kind of had to have a bit of restraint because for it again for it to have its context inside like the whole thing rather than it being too distracting. So the original source file for it without anything is on this. So again, you have. I'll link this to my free sound. This was me recording with my Zoom H6. So there's this huge gutter, the thing where rain falls in, and there was it like it wasn't raining, but at the point where the droplets were falling, and the way it resonated because it's this long metal construction, like long metal tube, it emitted these sounds, which spring is, right? So I use this as the base, and as the whole thing is, I mean, this giant metallic thing. So here, yeah, low rumble, and I use the disperser. So in the sound, I guess in current trends with the sound design world, this is a plus and minus thing. Again, it is definitely a trend, but I like to use it on certain things because here it gives it an envelope. It makes it more like here it's more body, here it's more top end, and I feel it as the things are hitting it here. It's reacting and it's giving the transients a pitch envelope, which makes it really useful for further processing and for coming through the mix, without a lot of effort. I'll link you to. I mean, if you're watching this tutorial or if you're following this channel, AU5 made this out of inboard Ableton plugins, which is phenomenal. So I'll link the tutorial, and so you have this, all right? Then so yeah, I'll disable these one by one, and I'll go So I think, yeah, I froze this one, and then I got it back to its original pitch, so I pitched it up. Right? Why I did this with the imager, I'm not sure. But alright, I did it again. No, I didn't use it. I was probably testing something and then I removed it, but either way, it's okay. Okay, here. Yeah, again, I'm offsetting it in the stereo field, as it's kind of, because I feel I'm using, so it's not modulating or anything, but I'm using the delay. It's set here, so it's -1, but it's set to fully wet, so it's not doing anything to the signal, and I'm not using a filter or anything. But I'm offsetting the thing for 0.4, so yeah, 0.4 milliseconds, and I'm inverting the phase. So I'm kind of thinning out the whole thing, as you can hear it. Right? So I'm kind of phasing it even more. Then I'm using the phaser again. And mind you, this was a flow state thing where I'm coming back to the projects and how I thought about these things, but right, I'm probably giving it a bit of an envelope as well. Subtle, but it worked out in the end. Here I like to this is probably me looking at the spectrum, and so probably need to get a bit more level. Not probably, but I do need more level, right? And without it, yeah, I wanted to cut out this part, because I honestly don't even hear that, like that part. It's above 15K. I don't hear it, and I don't need it. And it might affect the sound later if, like, with further processing. So I kind of gave it just a bit of a cut with the low, with the filter. All right. So I like to use this a lot. It's Reaktor Cyan, and you can hear it modulating the whole thing around the stereo field, as well as modulating the pitch of it and kind of giving this like sludgy feel. And you can hear the lower, right? The lower modulated parts where it sound actually pretty good. Next. Right. So this real thing, honestly, I feel this is like a mixing desk thing that has its own like applicability inside of big studios, and probably with like layering certain instruments, guitars, vocals, and stuff like that. But here I know this. I love this preset because it's pretty self-explanatory. It makes it more mono, as well as like it kind of gives it this like charging up effect. Again, I think I did the same thing. Right. And it gives this, yeah. I did the same thing with the low pass filter. Just cutting out everything as well, like the same way as I like cut out. I mean, here maybe it was a bit too hard, but you would normally cut out below 20, 30 if it's like really, really not audible. Then yeah, I needed to kind of dim in the whole thing. right? Because it was way like way above in the spectrum, and I find a bandpass like really does it well. Then use the delay, and here I'm using a delay so as well again to kind of push it back in the in the stereo field, and for it to be like pushed back in the mix. And here it's set to, I mean, both delay times are the same and they're set to the same value. But here I'm engaging the filter and I'm modulating the whole thing, as well as like giving feedback to the whole thing. And here a sense of, I think, you know, constraint needed to be, because this sounds pretty good. Right, but it's, I feel it would take too much of you know, too much of attention, and but mixed with this thing, it worked, you know. Right? And with the with the previous tail sound, you know, the whole thing needed to loop, and this gave this just like the right amount of modulation and like variety, and yeah, like randomized parts where it would go up and like, you know, whereas this is always like hitting the the spring here, and I feel this kind of constrained the whole thing. Right, and it sounds so you know, and and for especially for it being mono, like it sounds deep, and so I feel this yeah, it serves its purpose in like the whole grand scheme of like imagining the ship, right? Because there are other elements that you need to be aware of as you're playing the game, right? So aside from like UI stuff, like building stuff, and all the other stuff, so this as an ambient sound, I feel it made sense, and it's pretty yeah. And again, it's like it's there's not much that I need to do inside of like audio middleware and Unity. That is, I just need to loop it, and it said that it has like an attenuation curve as you're like approaching it or passing it by, that it happens, and when you zoom in, right? But other than that, it's like engaging enough for it to not to be too repetitive, but to like for it to be there and to contribute to the like the entire picture of the soundscape. All right. Next one. Bye bye.